Hi, I'm Ellen Hanak. I'm an economist with the Public Policy Institute of California, and I'd like to talk to you today about some of California's long-term water challenges and some of the solutions that we might be able to pursue. Start with the challenges. California, really, if you look over the coming decades, faces some major challenges. One of them that people often point to is population growth. We're expected to reach a population of about 50 million people by mid-century, and all of that growth means new water demands. We also have a lot of unmet needs in the environmental sector. A lot of fish species in California are endangered already or are on the brink of being endangered, and in most cases that's going to mean that we're going to have to provide new water for the fish. Now, if you think about supply side issues, it's really hard to expand some of our traditional supply sources. It used to be that we would just go and build a surface reservoir or put in another pump and get more groundwater out of the ground. Well, both of those options are much more limited now because we've used up a lot of our groundwater and it's much more costly now to build reservoirs. Climate change is the other sort of kicker in terms of the long run challenges. We already know that we're going to be having less snowpack because of warming temperatures, and that's where we store a lot of our water now. And also there's a possibility that we'll have less precipitation. The good news is that there are a lot of options for meeting these growth and demands. People like to look at this, water managers like to look at this as sort of a portfolio approach, kind of like financial management with a portfolio. Water portfolio, you look at a lot of different solutions and you try to combine them. So that includes water use efficiency, water marketing, transferring water from some users to others that have demand growth, underground storage, so we can still use our groundwater reserves, but we have to be able to put water back into them when we have wet years, and then reuse of recycled water. Those are the options. And then if you think about how far we are along in it, we actually are doing pretty well in the sense that there's been a lot of innovation since especially the early 90s on a lot of these fronts. There's been improvements in technology and also in pricing policies that improve water use efficiency. We've had a rise in water markets. We've had some progress in groundwater banking or underground storage, and there's also been a lot of regional cooperation that didn't used to exist among water agencies. So that's the good news. The bad news is that we have a major trouble spot in California water, and that is the Delta. It's sometimes called the heart of our water supply or the hub of our water supply. This is a network of fragile levees, about 1,100 miles of fragile levees east of San Francisco, south of Sacramento. And these levees are used, these channels, to convey water from Northern California to parts of the Bay Area, to Southern California, and to the San Joaquin Valley farmland. And right now we have two major risks in this region. One of them is infrastructure risks. It's a very fragile network of levees that has a high risk of failure from earthquakes and from flooding. And there also is a more near-term immediate problem, which is environmental risk. Right now, a number of the fish species that depend on the Delta are in big trouble, and as a result, there have been cutbacks in water supplies because the fish need that water. So, thinking about the Delta, there are solutions. People have been working on this quite a bit over the last few years, but these solutions will not be quick and they won't be easy. So the sort of physical solution is new conveyance infrastructure, either building a canal around the Delta or a tunnel underneath the Delta that would deliver water to cities and farmland, and that would allow you to manage the Delta itself in a much more positive way for the fish. So that would be better for water users and for the fish. But in order to do this, we still need major work to agree on a couple of key things. One of them is operating rules for this new system to make sure that it does provide environmental benefits. And then the other is, how would we pay for it? This is going to be expensive, and it's not just the infrastructure itself that we're talking about, but also a lot of environmental restoration that needs to be done. Now, the good news is that since April, there has been a Delta Stewardship Council created. This was created with legislation in late 2009. They had their first meeting, and this group will be able to oversee ways of trying to balance the water user needs and the fish needs in the Delta. So it's a good start.